Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this one's a fun one. It's a community cast sent in by ShetlandApache, who I'm sure you guys all know, and also Sladex, who has been on the channel a few times now, fairly recently. So it'll definitely be fun to see. So these are a load of friendly matches that they played, and this I think is my favourite. It's very silly. So here you can see Dwarf Army, led by ShetlandApache with Iron Drakes. That's right, 3 units of Iron Drakes. Isn't that amazing? You never see these guys. Absolutely amazing against like lightly armoured stuff. And low leadership factions really suffer because they have that amazing leadership penalty. Look at that. Burnt. -8 leadership for getting shot at. That is another big debuff because things get debuffed anyway, getting shot at by anything. So that's great. That's extra leadership damage. And they will just shred through low armoured targets. They won't get a lot of kills, but they'll just lower their health by half immediately if they get a good volley off. Also, Dragonback Slayers, great. Great to have some anti-large, and there's a couple of other Slayers dotted around. I think it's just those units, yep. But there are a load of Bugsmans as well. Bugsman's Rangers are brilliant against low leadership factions too, because if they end up in melee, which they're actually quite good at doing for ranged units, that thing will eventually run away, especially with all these leadership penalties, things like Slayers able to run in, start hacking stuff up. They get some respite between charges. So low leadership factions who expect to fight multiple times, they get to recharge in between, which I think is really good. That and all that low AP missile damage is very handy. But there is some AP as well. He's got the Grumbling Guard, which is very handy. He's got all of these miners with blasting charges. The blasting charges themselves, great for killing goblins. And their AP, you know, in melee, which can definitely help. They're not the most reliable, they're not very good at hitting things, they're not the best melee defense, especially for dwarfs, but they're not bad. They're not half bad. You know, those blasting charges especially are so useful. So, Rune Lord, so Rune of Wrath and Ruin, you can see it's already been used on these Black Orcs, which is super useful to stop them from getting to the fight too early. And also here, this Thane. So Thane, pretty good in melee, you know, pretty good combatant, but he's also got this. He's got Ironbeard's Ring, which is plus 22% weakness to fire damage. So it means that all of these Iron Drakes, if they're shooting anything near the Thane, it's going to do another 22% damage, which is pretty awesome. So I love this build. I think this is really interesting. It's really unique. And let's talk about the Greenskin army. Oh my god, look at that coming in slow motion. Oh, that's spectacular. Anyway, so we can see goblins. Lots of goblins, but who cares about them, right? No, what's really interesting is there are 2 Arachnarok spiders. 2 of them. 2 Arachnaroks, which is very, very scary. They have a ton of armor, so unless you've got a load of armor piercing, it's really hard to kill them. Slayers will do pretty well, but you know, they'll kill so many Slayers before the Slayers can take them down. If you had giant Slayers, sure, Ragnarok would last, you know, 5 seconds, but normal Slayers, they don't have a lot of armor piercing. It's the anti-large that helps. But against something with 150 armor, they still don't quite make the dent that they would against a lot of other large targets. So that's pretty painful. So the Ragnaroks are very cool here. Goblins are already dead. Basically already dead. They've just been slaughtered. But, oh, did I mention Ulthar's Rangers for the armor piercing? That's very, very handy. And the Mark of Ulthar as well, weakening things further, which is nice. Use the Mark of Ulthar on something, you know, the Thane is nearby, and then the Iron Drakes will shoot at it. That's going to be a lot of damage. So, also Grimgore Ironhide. Lovely to see him. You know, well, not for the dwarfs. Not for the dwarfs. Anyway, he's great because he can just charge into melee, start smashing things. He's going to just generate war over and over again. So against the dwarfs that aren't very killy, he's great pick here, I think. This is, I think, one time where he's super useful. Also over here, you can see the Night Goblin Shaman. So he's got Itchy Nuisance, I think Gork will fix it, and Vindictive Flare, which is pretty cool. So, speeding things up. Let's see how this goes. So, huge amount of damage. All the goblins just getting wiped out in seconds. You know, still huge model counts, because the damage is so spread out with things like the Iron Drakes. So over here, speaking of Iron Drakes, one of them is a bit caught up in here. There is a unit in the middle of that, which they definitely want to pull back. Over here, some good damage on this Arachnarok. The Dragonback Slayers are going to help slow them down, and Ulthar's Rangers are going to do a lot of damage here. Unfortunately, though, Grimgore has caught out these Iron Drakes a bit, and I don't like the chance of this Thane holding this stuff back. And, oh yeah, guys, I forgot to tell you, there are more goblins. So, yeah, I wanted it to be a surprise, because I'm sure it's a surprise for Shetland. You see 2 Arachnaroks, you don't expect a big army. But no, there's Night Goblins, Dwarlord's Boys, 8-Peak Loonies, Rusty Arrows, Night Goblin Archers, Night Goblin Archers, Night Goblin Archers. So poison everywhere, and just a ton of attacks in the rear. Very painful. Some armor sundering with the Rusty Arrows, and you can see that Ulthar's Rangers just have nowhere to run, and they are vital vital component of this army. They need that armor piercing to help shred, you know, things like the Arachnarok spiders. So that's a real problem. One of them has run away. You know, you can see how useful they were there. So get rid of them there, and what's going to kill this one? I mean, sure, there's some slayers, but with the amount of archer fire and poison, it's going to slow them down. You're going to get a load of shots into them, and that is a real problem. Bugman's Rangers, they've got caught up into melee. You know, the Arachnarok Spider, he knows to get on top of this stuff so it can't shoot back at these archers, because Bugman's will beat any other archer one-on-one. So keep them distracted so you can keep shooting at the Slayers, which are going to be the biggest threat. Well, that and Ulthar's Raiders, they're already gone, which is pretty brutal. So, Miser Blasting Charges trying to go up this Night Goblin Shaman. So many ranged units caught up in this fight because of this sandwich. It's impossible not to have that happen. The Rune Lord fighting Grimgore, you don't want that happening. You really don't want that happening. You really don't want that happening. Iron Drake still firing, and you can see the Grumbling Guard, they're doing a fine job in here, trying to help deal with these Black Orcs. Black Orcs are no joke, but Grumbling Guard, very good combat stats. Well, not right now, because they've had a huge debuff, but very good combat stats, good armor piercing, you know, really good, reliable unit. Keep everybody fresh nearby, lovely. But these Iron Drakes are just shooting from every side, which is just superb. I want to see this unit get roasted by these guys. That's what I want to see. But you can see the Rune Lord is in a lot of trouble indeed. Slayer's still chasing things around, so he's going to try and intercept these Night Goblins. But that's the thing. He's having to throw Slayers at Goblins, and the Goblins are going to be so cost-effective against Slayers. They just are. And that's a real problem. That is a real problem, because you have to stop them. You have to stop them somehow, or else everything's just going to get surrounded and killed. So you've got to be able to attack him with what you've got. And what he's got is Slayers. That's all that isn't tied down, because every time they attack something, they win and move on to the next thing. But it's still expensive. It is still expensive. But look at this, 139 kills, 140, okay, yep. And beautiful, beautiful attack here. Iron Drakes just char-grilling these Night Goblins. Dragonback Slayers got rid of the Rusty Arrows, but there's so few of them left, and they are sorely needed for things like the Arachnarok Spiders. So here you can see the Rune Lord, super injured, but he did come back. Grimgore's on the hunt for him, and all this stuff has been slowed down by Gorkafixit, which means they can't catch up to Grimgore, not even slightly. So here, the Rune Lord fighting the Night Goblins. The Night Goblins are going to keep pushing through, though. They're going to try and get up to the Bugmans, but they're wavering a bit, and they're pretty injured. And the Bugmans have been regenerating this whole time, so their model count is going to stay nice and high, because their individual models are going to have more health in the pool. But because Grimgore, another War is procced, because he was able to stay in melee the entire time and just keep regenerating that War. So here you can see only 2 Iron Drakes left in this unit, but that's still enough to get the leadership penalty if they hit things. So still useful. Over here, though, these Iron Drakes are in a lot of trouble. The only thing that keeps Iron Drakes alive is the armor. It is huge armor at 125, but they have sod all melee defense and sod all melee attacks. They can't fight anything off in melee, and they're going to die very quickly to armor-piercing units. And the Arachnarok Spider is one such a unit. So the Iron Drakes are in a lot of trouble here. Some Iron Drakes still able to do things. The Rune Lord is dead. Yeah, Grimgore's going to be shouting, "We are the best," probably. Or, "I am the best." One or the other. I don't know. It depends how much credit he wants to give to the rest of his guys. And unfortunately, that's army losses. Which is such a shame. Such a shame that the Dwarfs caved then. I mean, huge amount of power left with the Arachnaroks and Grimgore. But just the Rune Lord dying was enough just to knock everyone's leadership way too low. Army losses takes hold, and now it's just down to the Slayers. And it's not enough, is it? It's just not enough. These Dragonback Slayers are dead. Okay. Yep. Warlord's Boy is great for dealing with units like that. I mean, yeah, they got the armor sundering, which doesn't help against Slayers, but they've just got pretty good stats, and they got very high model counts, and they don't have armor-piercing damage. They just have good weapon strength, so they can just kill Slayers really easily. They're very good at that, which is a real problem for Slayers, you know, when they have to go through all this stuff. Sure, Slayers can kill hundreds of them, but yeah, you've got to kill many hundreds of them, so it makes it very tough. But yeah, they're still fighting. They're still fighting. They're still hanging in there. Grimgore's just chasing a load of fleeing units, cackling away, I'm sure. And here, one Slayer was left trying to fight that Shaman. He lost, though, and now these 14, these guys are dropping pretty quickly. Yeah, they're trying to deal with the Arachnarok. I just don't like their chances. There's just not enough of them left. There's just not enough of them. Aww. I'm kind of sad. Although, also kind of happy. It's weird, because both of these armies were just hysterically fun. I think they were great. You know, we had one just really unconventional dwarf build, you know, with all this awesome fire and flame. It was amazing to see. But then also we had just a really just mad, sneaky army of goblins, you know, with the Vanguard shenanigans. And that was a textbook ambush. It worked out beautifully. I think it was really fun. So let's look at the rundown. So, Iron Drakes. Not a lot of kills. See, that's what I find sad. I wish it would show damage. I really wish you could toggle, like, a damage thing. Because I feel like they put a lot of work in, but you just can't tell. The kills are pretty pathetic for these guys. I mean, 74 on one of them is pretty good. I mean, they're not the most expensive things, Iron Drakes. They're, what, 600, 700? I want to say 600, but I might be wrong. Shows how often I tend to gamble with them. But they get a lot of work done. You know, the health just plummets whenever they hit something like goblins or, you know, night goblins. And that can add up very quickly. You take out half a unit of a few of these, they've paid for themselves. So, it's just, oh, they're great. I just wish you could see the damage. Because I feel like they did better than it looks. But Bugman's Rangers, they got some damage in. Ulthar's Raiders, they got some damage in. Mainly, you know, basically, speaking is hard today. Mostly, I wasn't sure whether to say mostly or mainly, so it came out as mastely. You know what? That's a word now. It's my channel. I can make up words. It's fine. Mastly, they were going for the Arachnarok Spider. That's right. But the Slayers just killed billions. But of course they would. It's all goblins. But there were so many goblins to throw at them. It barely made a dent. The Thane got caught out super early. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. Miners with blasting charges. There we go. These guys just... It's the blasting charges. It's all about the blasting charges. They do so well against this crap. It's amazing. I love to see it, but it was just too much. All this stuff got surrounded. Everything that they had to deal with the Arachnarok spiders was busy fighting goblins or being shot by goblins. It was one or the other. And so you just can't deal with all the Arachnaroks or Grimgore. There was nothing to deal with that stuff in this army once, you know, that ambush had pounced. So it was very, very sad. So well played, ShetlandApache, and Vanguard shenanigans, and Grimgore, and double Arachnarok. Serious crowd pleaser, at least I hope it is. And Iron Drakes, this is just superb, and it is great to see some off-meta, just fun nonsense that makes a surprising amount of sense. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and come back to the next one, where I'll probably be able to speak again. We'll find out. Have a good one, guys.